I'm Nick DeSanctis, bringing you along for a closer look inside athletics at West Point. This week we'll meet one of the top freshmen playing in Atlantic hockey, get some help with a common New Year's resolution, and meet an Army associate head coach. The Army hockey team's top line consists of 2 freshmen and a sophomore here in the 2013-14 season. We had the chance to chat with one of the freshmen, C.J. Rushland. Rushland leading the team in goals in his first year here at West Point. Had the chance to sit down and talk to him in this week's Cadet Spotlight.
Plebe year has been quite an eventful year. Beast was pretty tough, 6 weeks, went through a lot. Then you got really close with all your freshman class. And then the hockey season started, and it's just like, I don't know, just like any other hockey season you've always been playing, and a little more special now that you're in college. And the results haven't gone the way we want so far, but we're looking to make a late push, so good things to come. It's a lot tougher in college hockey. You know, in juniors, it was a little bit more skill, I want to say, and here you don't get away with as much, and everyone's so good that you don't have like the time and space that you did in juniors. So you got to learn to react to the players that you're playing against and playing with. We all played in the same league. I played against Cozy my first year juniors. I played against Clint both years I played juniors. So we knew of each other. When we got in here, you know, you kind of just felt a connection, just playing the same spot. And then they put us on a line, and I mean, there's so much chemistry. You can just feel it. And, it's really been a pleasure to play with those two. When I took my visit here, I was obviously like in awe of this place. I mean, Tate Rink is beautiful. We're lucky to call it home. And when the crowd's here, it's a special place. And you get it when you score a goal, you make a good play, you can hear the crowd, and it makes you smile, that's for sure. I always put on everything left first, and I've tried to be as relaxed as possible. Just put everything on pretty slowly and take my time, make sure I do everything right. I do my clear tape on my socks the same way every game. It's been like that for like 7 or 8 years now. And can't let it bake in, it's got to be tight and make sure it looks nice. I'm C.J. Rushland, plebe, hockey.
Army women's basketball head coach Dave McGarity was honored on Wednesday before the game. He has become the winningest coach in program history here at West Point. McGarity also holding the most wins record on the men's side up at Marist. One of his assistant coaches, Colleen Mullen, holds the title of associate head coach on McGarity's staff. She's in her 3rd season here with the Black Knights. We had the chance to sit down and talk with his associate head coach and get her thoughts on what the players think of their storied head coach and her time here at West Point.
No, I always knew I wanted to be a coach from a young kid when I was able to play in college, but it was really hard to get my foot in the door. So when I graduated, I applied for probably over 100 jobs, and nobody would look at my resume. So I just kind of did a bunch of different sales jobs. I worked in human resources, and finally, after a year, one of the coaches that was the head coach at Northern Illinois University out in DeKalb, Illinois, was from Massachusetts originally, saw my resume and called me, and I went on the interview and packed my bags and went to Corn Country, DeKalb, Illinois as a director of operations. That was my first job. My main responsibility is recruiting. I'm the recruiting coordinator, so that's pretty much my main focus of what I kind of head up the recruiting efforts here, and I manage the other assistants in the different areas that they're responsible for. But it's a really big team effort, and my title as associate head coach is really no different than the other assistants in terms of the autonomy that coach gives each and every one of us and the trust that he instills in all of us. I mean, the way he listens to us and the trust that he has in every one of his staff members is unbelievable. And for me, I have the opportunity in game situations to really have his trust and his, he leaves the door open for me to talk in timeouts and to draw things up on the board. And so it gives me the opportunity to really prepare myself for my next step, which is to become a head coach. So that title is really giving me that, almost like his apprentice to, the next step, the pathway into having a voice as a head coach. It's no secret. It's the players. We got really special kids. I mean, it's a team effort. Our players are some of the most just interesting, self-motivated young people, and they want to protect this house. And Coach McGarity is a motivator. All the players, they would run for a wall for him. They run through a wall. They really respect him, and he just has a way to get the best out of his players. And there's something to be said about protecting your home court. So, best memory was sweeping Navy last year, and just being able to see the elation in those players' faces and watching them sing last and understanding what that really meant, and facing off, and the preparation and the intensity in the competition and the fun rivalry that there is, but watching the players compete and overcoming and beating Navy was pretty cool. It's one of the most privileged experiences I've had so far in my life. And my mother came from a military background, and I never really understood what it was to be like around so many unbelievable people, generals and colonels, and just being able to be a mentor and a leader for these young women who are going to do something so much bigger than I can ever even imagine. And sometimes people look at me and they say, "Oh my gosh, you work at West Point?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just worked there. I didn't go there." But just to be a part of their growth and development makes me feel like I get up every day, and I'm really lucky for what I do.
It's that time of year where the New Year's resolutions are still very fresh in everyone's mind. So if you're getting ready to head out on the run, make sure you stretch and get warmed up. We got some help from the Army track team on just that. It's in this week's Night School.
How's it going? I'm Jordan Worthington. I'm a plebe, class of 2017 at West Point, the United States Military Academy. I'm a member of the track team here. I pole vault and long jump, and today I'm going to show you how to do a few stretches to warm up before you go on a run, especially up here in the north. It gets nice and cold. You don't want to go out without stretching and warming up first. So the first thing you want to do is every time you warm up, you either want to start from the top, work your way down to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top. So first things first, what you want to do is every time you warm up, you either want to start with the top and move down, or start at the bottom and move up. So I like to start at the top, so I'm going to start out, get a few good arm circles in, loosen up the shoulders. Get a little stretch, pulling each shoulder across to the opposite side. Get a few hip circles in, just loosen up. And the key part of this is keep your feet flat so that you're not moving everywhere. From there, you can move down to the knees. The knees, main part, it's a huge part of running, huge joint. Rock them out a bit. Get some circles going, really loosen them up. You don't want them to get stiff during the run. You want to do the same thing with the ankles, but with the ankles, you can turn them in and out. Outward, get one in. Just want to be careful, get everything moving. Be careful of twisting an ankle, have anything bad happen. Move down, do some toe touches. The key with this is to keep your legs straight. You don't want to lock your knees out, but just keep them nice and firm. And reach as far down to the ground as you can go. Try to go as far as you can. From there, we're going to move on. You always want to stretch out your calves because, when you run, a lot of people experience a lot of tightness in the calves. So if you stretch them out before, you can hope to avoid that. Now you want to put your top foot on the back of the ankle that is on the ground and try to push that heel to the ground to get a maximum stretch. So as far as you can go. Go ahead, switch sides. And after that, it's all right. Go ahead, sit down. What we're going to do now, we're going to get down. You can sit crisscross, just like in elementary school. Reach out to the ground as far as you can go. Try to tuck your ears in between your shoulders and pull the ground towards you. And if you're running with a partner, a good thing, you can have them press down on your shoulders and push you farther down to get a better stretch. Go ahead, pull your heels as far into your butt as you can. Do a little bit of butterfly. And trick to this one, you're going to put your feet together, pull your heels in as close to your butt as possible. And then from there, you're going to want to take your elbows and put them right inside your knees. Try to push your knees all the way to the ground. You get a nice tight stretch right in here on the top of the leg and also on the back side. From here, we're going to go to a moving stretch. It's called a hurdle seat exchange. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull one leg back. And the trick to this one is you want to be able to touch your opposite toe with your opposite hand. And what it's going to do is not only want to stretch in your hip flexors, but it's also going to stretch along your whole leg. It's going to stretch your calf, the back of your hamstring, top of your thighs as well. So as you move, you're going to want to touch it and roll. Now we're going to go ahead and add some movement to it. Now the movement As you really loosen up, it's going to help your back and all of your legs and the hip flexors as you get the movement down. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll your side and just go straight into the hurdle seat exchange. Once you feel nice and loose, if you have a stretch that you like to do, anything specific, go ahead and do it. But a good thing is start your run out nice and slow. Once you feel loose, give it about 5 minutes, get your body warmed up, acclimated to the run, and go ahead and hit your run full force. Again, my name is Jordan Worthington. I'm a plebe at West Point, United States Military Academy, a member of the track team. And this is a good way to stretch and loosen up before you go on those winter runs.
Thanks so much for joining us on this week's edition of Black Knights Weekly. Remember to keep up with the Black Knights across all your social media platforms, and for the latest up-to-date news, visit GoArmySports.com. Until next time, for Night Vision, I'm Nick DeSanctis.